I forgot something. There we go. Much better. That's soothing white light caressing my face. That's better. That's better. I didn't stream all week or all week. Sorry, all weekend for a very good reason, according to me. And that reason is I didn't want to. I was doing something else that was important to me. No. I seem to have been logged out. Cancel, accept. I want to go back. No? Let me just fix this before I continue. Really? Really? Two-factor authentication always saves my life. Oh, you have the stream activity. Let me log out. Just let me log out. I don't want to. Why is it doing this to me? Fuck it. There we go. Yes. Okay, so what I was talking about before or this weekend, I have been knee deep in programming instead. I have a concept. Yeah, I talked about this last stream. The concept that I'm working on is based around Captain Sonar, where you have two teams of up to, there we go, of up to 4 players, all with their own special function. One person is the captain who decides everything. One person is the signal operator whose mission, whose job is to listen to the opposite captain to try and figure out where they are, because the captain declares north, west, south, east on direction of movement. One person is the engineer and one person is the weapons operator or something. Weapons operator, just the most boring of jobs. They just declare, cross out what weapon should be or what ability should be active first. So for every movement, you get to fill out one of those things. And they look kind of like this. So you have sonar, and once you have filled out all 3 slots, so after 3 movements, if you fill out all 3 slots immediately, the opposite team has to tell you something. It's not important. And then we have the engineer whose job is to make sure that the ship is running. And they will cross out stuff like this. So if they cross out this radar here, the sonar that we saw earlier, can't function. So what am I working on? I am currently working on a game based around this, of course. But it has to be one person doing everything. Excuse the overlay, the bad UI at the moment. It worked before I moved on to the next phase. This is what is this? 0.1 alpha. Like we're not even in a proper beta game yet. So excuse the bad UI, but essentially you get to move one step like this, and you can see here the generator temperature is moving up by every move, and if I stand still, it goes down. However, the enemies are invisible. Oh, and if I go here and I bump into land, you can see my health moves down. I'm not going to do it more because... So we have a health bar, we have a generated temperature, and then we have this, which is a signal strength. That's all it is at the moment. I'm going to incorporate it more in different things. And can we not... I can't... Okay, so again, excuse the bad UI. This is supposed to be all the way around here. So it's like really pushed up. Why can't I... What if I restart? Will that help anything? Nope. Okay. I can't. Okay. However, if I now... I can't move anywhere. I go right or I'm going left. Nothing happens. You can see that... Oh, I'm... yeah. Ignore that. There we go. Now I'm at the right corner. I'm far east. And if I go here, I can't move any further east or further west, okay? But if I press up, the signal strength moves up. You can see the generated temperature just spikes. Oh. I don't know the degrees for this, unfortunately. However, I can detect the distance by waiting a bit to see... There we go. Okay, so it cuts off here, so it's quite a bit away, but if we move this way... If I go too far, I'm overheating. I shouldn't be able to do anything, but apparently I can. Again, it's an alpha. It's an early alpha. But now I can... Come on. So I have to assume it's over here somewhere, I'm guessing. Which is annoying. Anyway, so this is the game. Oh, no, it's over there. So we moved past it, but we moved further away from it as well. So if I go here... and I go up, I think. No, actually, I'm going to go down. Again, I can't see the degrees, which is going to tell me something. I go down, and now if I wait, I should be able... Oh. Okay, anyway. So that's what I've been working on. And... what I've been struggling with, because the game is no fun without enemies. And Unity has a really, 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 really good game service function. Oops. Unity game service. Let me just go like this. No. All right. No sneak peeking for you guys. So here we are. They have this game service which has a very generous, at least for my type of game, which won't be data heavy at all. So you have quite simple integration with multiplayer through this. We have a lobby service, relay, which is, I'm guessing, has to do with track usage of this service. Yeah, okay. I want to see what is exactly is relay. Enable peer-to-peer multiplayer experiences by connecting peer-hosted players with relay. Okay. So instead of you getting the IP address, hey, social, instead of you getting the IP address directly, you go through the relay and it's anonymous. Because an issue with Among Us, which did do a peer-to-peer connection directly without any abstraction, was the people were doxxed. So I'm taking, for you, social, I'm going to show you. I'm taking this game, which, again, forgive the broken UI and the bad placing of that character, or starting position. Okay, here we go. So I'm taking this. Let's see if we can find someone. Yeah. Oh, it's above us. Can we find them? Okay, anyway, this hunting mechanism where you hunt for other people, and I'm going to make it multiplayer. So, what I've been working on, what is this? Singleton is not initialized. Okay, there's an error that I didn't discover while I was playing this. Okay. Anyway, what I'm doing is I've just been, hey, Blaze, I've just been trying to create a connection, and unfortunately I can't show you because for some reason a singleton isn't being singletons. Let's see if I can fix this just quickly. Just I have to. Yeah. I am. Don't stress me, social. Don't stress me. It's not visually interesting yet, unfortunately. There's what? So okay. But I'm not trying to authenticate. The lobby controller should be no. Yes, the lobby controller should be off. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I think. Nope. Why is it doing this to me? Enable equal false. What happens if I remove this? It worked yesterday. It did work yesterday. I don't know why it's not working today. But it's not. Never mind. Anyway, I've gotten the... If I create a game here, I've gotten the code and this to work so that people connect in the lobby. Now I'm going to make so that they can start a game and move back. I was hoping... The reason I've been struggling this entire weekend was I was hoping to have it published. Just a basic bare bones game. I can show you guys the UI without... Because at the moment the game's not working. So I can't show you the game. But this is what the UI is supposed to look like. Maybe I can't show you the game, actually. What if I... no, scenes... And do I have to do that? Panel settings. And prefabs player. Is this enough? It might be. Oh, nope. Okay. It's broken. It's broken. I'm sorry. It's broken. I'm going to fix it. But yeah, this is what the UI is supposed to look like. And if I do this. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Minus the dot. So you can see the degrees. And I was inspired by... to not make a circular, but make it more abstract. Sonar smarter every day.
Greeners.
So here's the explanation for why it's flat.
In this case, the contact is moving, so the bearing is 20 degrees. If it's running parallel, it doesn't quite make it to 180, and that's how you measure the bearing, which is basically just the angle from your boat. Now let's do something a little strange. Let's unwrap this polar coordinate graph, and let's add a time component to it by scrolling the graph down and plotting the bearing we see as a function of time. Watch this closely. Contact. There's 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 60.
So this is what I'm trying to recreate. But I have dots because I really tried making it a line, but then I realized, what the fuck do I do when it switches side? That type of code is gonna wreck my brain, and I don't like it. I might do it in the future, because this is just a proof of concept. That's all it is. I'm gonna do the bare bones amount just to make sure that the game is fun to play before I move on. So that is what I'm working with. Yeah, I can save that. Sure. Why not? Okay. Things have happened while I haven't been streaming. Trump has been indicted. Praise the Lords. And it seems like it's more. It seems like more and more and more and more is just going to come for him. Where is it? There we go. Oh, Washington Post. Okay. So, breaking news, Justice Department said to be amassing more evidence of possible obstruction by Trump in Mar-a-Lago classified documents probe. Oh. Gift link. No. Okay. Why is this on top? What? Really? Huh? I do not understand this. But okay. Justice Department and FBI investigators have amassed fresh evidence pointing to possible obstruction by former President Donald Trump in the investigation into top secret documents found at his Mar-a-Lago home, according to popular people familiar with the matter. The additional evidence comes as investigators have used emails and text messages from a former Trump aide to help understand key moments last year, said the people, who, like others interviewed for this article, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss an ongoing criminal investigation. So basically, god damn, that's a long article. Okay. So basically, he's fucked. He's fucked many ways to Sundays. Why am I in pain? Because I've been programming the entire weekend. I have been locked in to this station because the things I have attempted to do have always seemed just out of reach. But as I go to grasp, and I'm like, oh, that's it. And I pull, and I keep pulling, and I keep pulling, and I keep pulling. And it's just like a clown handkerchief, you know? It's just endless amounts of handkerchiefs. And because of that, my neck is strained. I have a kink in my neck and it's not going away easily because I keep sitting in the chair trying to make the fucking game work. And that's why. That's why I'm in pain. I have found, because I usually, I'm a lazy boy, so I sit like this programming. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. But I have found this position, which I usually stream in because it looks better. I look more professional and stuff like that. You know, I don't look like the slob from South Park. I don't look like this guy as much when I'm not when I'm streaming, which is good. I think that's an improvement. Well, when I'm alone, when I'm home alone, when I'm programming, I usually go like this because I'm a lazy fucking boy, and I look like this guy, and I don't want to look like that when on stream. So, but in this position, I can move my head freely, and it's not as bad. To be fair, it was worse yesterday. There we go. And boy, oh boy, have a lot of things happened. So Trump is fucked. It seems. I hope. And he is a slippery. He's not called Teflon Don for nothing, though. So he is a slippery bastard, and I wouldn't call it curtains for him. I won't be that presumptive. But he has multiple probes looking into him. His followers are like, oh my God, I can't believe people actually would go after a president. If they can go after a president, they can go after anybody. Yeah. That's kind of the point of the legal system. That's kind of the point of a liberal society, that nobody is above the law. That's one of the good things about a liberal society. What are you talking about?
There is a mental.
Shut up. So, why don't we listen to two of Trump's sycophants, despite one of them, the Rubin one, the Ruber, Roobster himself claimed to have to hold Trump's feet to the fire if he's ever president and, stuff like that. Despite that, he hasn't done much, has he? So why don't we listen to him interview or talk to the Bober?
There is a mental health crisis, and the left is only escalating it.
Yeah.
They are increasing this mental health crisis rather than addressing it. Gender dysphoria used to be something that you went and got help for,
right.
And now it's encouraged.
So I'm guessing this is just an intro. Yeah, okay.
And it's pushed on our youth. You know what an adult chooses to do it. But when you are confusing our children, when you are sexualizing our children, that is where the line has to be drawn.
So she, first of all, she's a liar. The Republicans have gone full on authoritarian. Not even adults should be allowed to transition. So that is a lie. The treatment for gender dysphoria, and I know this is shocking, the treatment for gender dysphoria is to transition. However, not all people who transition have gender dysphoria. Like, non-binary people don't necessarily have gender dysphoria. What else does she say? We'll get back to it. That's going to be repeated later on. The Rubin Report. Dave Rubin.
We are in Washington, D.C., and joining
a little low
me
for you
today
guys.
is a U.S. Congresswoman representing Colorado's 3rd District, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Welcome back to the Rubin Report.
Dave, it is so great to be back in the Rubin Report with you.
We were supposed to do this yesterday, but
yes.
Apparently even a congresswoman doesn't have the power to stop our endless aviation problems that we're having in America these days.
No, Republicans are in the majority, so we have a little more power, but I'm not as powerful as Tony Gonzalez, who can shut down entire border security bills just with the power of his words. No, I was stuck on in airports all day long. I mean, if you're just going to count Eastern time, 8 a.m. to midnight. And I had 2 of my boys with me, which some people would think that causes for more stress, more of a headache, but it was awesome. I had my 15-year-old and my 10-year-old, and we walked the airports together. We snuggled on airplanes. We went and ate good food in the airport. They wanted McDonald's. I vetoed that. And so they
good food at the airport? Good food? Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. That explains the good food. Yeah. There is no good food for the common people at an airport. That is not possible, even in the slightest. Why are you doing that to me now? Do I need to go like this? There we go.
Listen, you get McDonald's anytime you want. But, it was really great just spending the day with them and a unique experience. Got home.
What is this room?
We got home.
Like all of these books. And this.
At 12:30, I put my 10-year-old in the shower. I said, I have been with you all day. You smell. I made you shower before we got on the airplane, and I don't think you use soap. So we still didn't get to bed till after 1 a.m. And
do you ever want to do that with some of the Democrats you're debating? You smell.
Yes.
You in the shower.
I don't think you use soap. Yeah. The mom instincts come out in me.
Individual responsibility is usually not their thing.
Right.
Do your kids?
What is this conversation?
And family come to DC often, or
I can't imagine, because Boebert and Marjorie, they are the right-wing version of AOC and Ilhan Omar, and I can't imagine hearing AOC or Ilhan Omar saying the same types of things. Like it's just, like it's not a big deal. Like the little jabs, it's not a big deal. It just goes to show the type of person she is. Like this is, I can, like Dave Rubin, sure, who cares? Whatever. He's a nobody. A congressperson? Like it just goes to show the fundamental flaws in their character.
Or is this just like you doing your thing here, in and out? Kind of thing?
So I'm pretty much on my own for the most part. But when when their schedule allows it, they certainly come up here. We've pulled them out of school to have weeks up here before because I had been traveling so much and just missed the heck out of them and said, why don't you come out here? And they act like they own DC when they come here. They go throughout the Capitol, the office buildings. They know which members of Congress have dogs in their office. And, they go and storm their offices and hang out. But this is spring break. So I have 2 boys with me. My oldest son is expecting his son any day.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he couldn't come to DC. I know.
You're gonna be, wait, how old are you?
I'm 36.
You're going to be a 36-year-old grandma.
Yes. I'm a GG, Dave. Yeah. I'm a GG.
How does that feel?
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Her son is 17. So she was does that make her 19? My math is I've been programming too much. 19. Yeah, 19. Oh, that teeters on uncomfortably young to be a mother, in my opinion.
So my mom, she was 18 when she had me. I was 18 when I had Tyler, and now he's 18. And one of his first comments to me was, "Mom, it's hereditary."
Yeah.
I said, "Nice try. It doesn't work that way." But I'm really proud of him and my grandson's mom for being responsible, because they could have taken a different route.
Yeah.
They
And
weren't
both of them
though.
chose life. And so it wasn't, anything I had to browbeat them with. I, very calmly had the conversation when we found out.
That's the whole thing.
Just
They
let
weren't
me know
responsible.
If you think something else. I just want to have a talk
Use a
with
fucking
you
condom.
if you decide to go a different direction.
That's
And
a
both of
responsible
them,
thing.
We're very excited and wanted to move forward and welcome this life into the
Is
world.
she a Catholic?
Was there any part of that challenged?
Is Bobert a Catholic? Self-described born-again Christian. Okay, so not a Catholic. Are born-again Christians the same in terms of sex? I mean, they had sex out of wedlock, so that alone is a major sin in her eyes. But is using a condom a sin in her eyes? I don't know. I have no idea.
Challenged any of your beliefs before you did that sit down with them, and just realizing,
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I'm a Christian, and, there are standards that we like to uphold, but none of us do it perfectly. One of the biggest things that I look to is him who knows to do right and doesn't, it's sin. And I mean, there's things all throughout the week that I know is right to do. And sometimes, I don't.
Him who knows what to do right, but doesn't, is a sin. So that's always been when I was a Christian. I used to be a Christian. I have wrong arm. I have a mark to prove it, a permanent mark to prove it. When I was a Christian, whenever I heard that argument, I'm like, okay, great. Let's not talk to people about Christianity then. That's the only way we can prevent people from sinning. Instilling in people the knowledge of sin, the knowledge of right and wrong, is bad then. Great. Her husband exposed himself to her and her friends in public when Bobo... Yeah, I know that. I remember. At a bowling alley, I believe, even. She comes from a deranged family.
Do them. And, so we can nitpick what the Bible says is right and wrong. But I think just having that that heart posture of wanting to serve God and do the right thing is so important. And I mean, would I chose a different path? Of course, but this is where we're at, and we're all embracing it, and we're so happy.
Wait, what do you mean you would have chose a different path?
For Tyler, for my son. Yes. So I mean,
meaning at this age.
At this age, exactly. Yeah, he wanted to go to UTI in Florida. He was going to graduate and go to college in Florida, and now he's looking at petroleum engineering classes, courses at our community college. It's a great community college in Rifle. But
let me just. I'm sorry. I have to. I can't. Okay. Come on, boo-boo. Get exciting.
I get to have him home with me longer, and I get to be Gigi. So certainly there are some beliefs that you
Gigi, is that grams?
Like, wait, this isn't exactly right and exactly what we have taught you, but this is where we're at, and we're going to teach you about redemption and how to move forward. So I'm happy that he's close to me, and I get to instruct him now on how to be a loving father and how to raise a baby. So
let's do a couple things about Colorado specifically, and then we'll get to the rest of the country. When I did my book tour back in May, I did Denver. I'd stop in Denver, and I was shocked at the amount of homeless people there. Like, you expect it in Seattle, you expect it in San Francisco and Portland, etc.
Why wouldn't you expect it in the poorer areas of the country if you see it in the richer areas?
But I was shocked by what was going on in Denver, which is such a gorgeous city, and the people are great and all that. So what is going on in Denver?
Democrats. So, I mean, really, that's what happened. We had universal mail-in ballots about 10 years ago go through, and Democrats started taking over every single election. And unfortunately, it was when we had our gubernatorial.
More democracy. Oh, if we have more democracy, we're just going to see Democrats take over. And that's not good for anyone, right? Like, democracy, that's bad, right?
Race that elected Governor Jared Polis. And after that is when we just saw this dramatic decline in.
Like, how can Dave Rubin sit there? I know he's brain dead. I know he's gone through this transformation from a liberal Democrat into a standard Republican, I know he's gone through all that, and he's not going to rock the boat because it gives him a lot of money. I know all that. And yet I'm surprised that he just lets that go. Like, she started saying, we used to have mail-in ballots, but it was her party that rolled that back. Wait, they've rolled it back? Did she?
And I was Denver, which is such a gorgeous.
So, I mean, really, that's what happened. We had universal mail-in ballots about 10 years ago go through, and Democrats started taking over every single election. And unfortunately, it was when we had our gubernatorial race that elected Governor Jared Polis. And after that is when we just saw this dramatic decline.
Okay. Anyway, I didn't hear that. I have they in Georgia, Colorado. I mean, not Georgia. Georgia is MTG, right? Have they rolled back mail-in ballots in Colorado? I am well aware of the rigging of the attempted rigging of the election from Trump. Well aware, but I can't believe, despite Dave Rubin's brain dead fall into Republican standard affairs or standard brain mindset, I can't believe that he just listens to this and doesn't question the words that are coming out of her mouth. It it blows my mind that someone can hear her talk, say universal ballots, mail-in ballots meant more Democrats elected, as if that's a bad thing. Like, I know they're Republicans, but democracy to them is a bad thing. That is what she's saying. More people voting means bad things.
In Colorado are policies infringing on Coloradans' rights, and then just the crime increase. Marijuana, legal rights in Colorado are policies infringing on Coloradans' rights, and then just the crime increase. Marijuana, it's legal in Colorado, obviously, and I think that did bring in a different.
So you connect that directly? Because as a general rule, I'm more libertarian, and I do.
Oh, okay, so he can actually question some things that she says. He's a libertarian, but he doesn't believe in democracy. Okay.
Believe in legalizing this stuff, and I'm not against people doing what they want with their lives. But even seeing in New York what's going on right now, the whole city just smells like weed, basically.
Yes. You can't go outside in Denver and not smell weed, and it's pretty much throughout.
I believe there should be some limitations on how you can consume the drugs because of the smell of it, of course. I think that's a reasonable step to take. You shouldn't be allowed to pollute an entire city with smog, you know?
Most of the state, especially in those urban areas. But I think it just brought with it, that legalization brought with it a different population and certainly a transient population. And the homelessness has just skyrocketed in Denver when we were having all the COVID lockdowns and everything. I mean, we just had an complete encampment right there at the Denver Capitol.
This is such a boring conversation,
like
though.
Literal tent cities everywhere. I was shocked.
Yes, and they are everywhere.
I thought this was going to be more spicy. I was hoping this was going to be more spicy. Because here, he has 2 million subscribers, but only 27K views on this video.
What is the...
Which just goes to show it's not a... Oh my God, his channel is dying. Like, don't get me wrong, you can sustain yourself on this. But if it wasn't for external funding, he wouldn't get shit out of this. And he's just doing an interview tour here. How I beat the teachers' union and increased parental rights. Oh my God. Like, it's just a boring conversation. I don't understand it. I can gain nothing from this. Let's give it 5 more minutes and see if it doesn't start to pace something
and
up.
They're not doing anything to remove them.
Oh my God.
So they're enabling the problem, and it is only increasing.
What do you think of, well, I guess I know what you think, but so Polis, it seems to me that people say, when I'm always like, oh, there's no moderate Democrat, people are like, well, Polis is he's not completely insane. But it doesn't sound like the policies are that far from what we think.
No, the policies are very extreme. And I do like Governor Jared Polis on a personal level. I mean, we've had some interactions, and he's been very kind to me.
Colorado
but
governor?
His policies do not match that moderate or libertarian mantra that people have about him. Even hearing stories of him serving in the House of Representatives is very different than what I'm seeing as him being our governor. And maybe it's his cabinet members who are pushing these extreme policies, and he's kind of going along with it. There is a supermajority. The Democrats have a supermajority in Colorado, and the state legislature pushes extreme policies, and unfortunately, those get signed into law. Whether that's
no examples,
gun control laws or comprehensive sex ed or vaccine mandates for our children in order to go to school.
Same thing George Washington
and so
did.
all of this is so extreme, and from from the top down. It affects everyone, everywhere. The lockdowns affected our businesses. So many were shut down. Our churches were shut down. Our schools were.
No, it's the same thing. It's just blurred out talking points without substance at all. Like it's so boring. It is mind-numbingly boring. And I can't listen to it. No wonder his channel is dying. Where's the... Didn't I save it? Okay, let's do this instead. I thought I saved MTG going... doing some... book reading. Let's see if I can find it quickly. MTG book reading. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Didn't she do a book reading recently? Or was that Bobert? Children's book reading. Nope. Okay. Someone on a forum linked this video. Feminism is brainwashing women to like feminine men. And I thought, sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. I don't call myself a feminist myself. I think I have quite a masculine look to me. I like my beard. I think my girlfriend, who does call herself a feminist, and she lets you know it, she appreciates my masculine side. So I do not think this is correct, though I do think, the title at least, though I do think that that feminism helps feminine men accept themselves. I do think that's and I do think women, because of feminism, some women accept the feminine men as well. Like it's not a entirely wrong statement to be in the title, but it's not entirely true either. Let's watch it.
Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the male gaze, the female gaze, and why the heck are women attracted to dad bods, and why are men so mad about it? These are tricky questions because of...
What, are dad bods a feminine trait? Like, I have a dad bod. I'm not gonna lie, I have a dad bod. Is that a feminine trait? Dad bod?
Of how skewed the perception is of like what women actually want, you know? Men who were perceived as more softer and like more in tune with their feminine side, those were the men that I was most attracted to. We don't want to be overpowered by men anymore.
Wow, that's super inaccurate.
Okay. Okay. I was like, is she the one? But apparently it's a dude, of course. A dude with a nasally voice. Of course.
Because if it were true that most women or even a majority of women wanted that, then you wouldn't constantly hear stuff like this.
Even though I may be like 5 feet tall, nothing less than 5'10".
And I mean constantly.
Here's what this dude gets wrong. Because I like short girls. I'm 6 foot tall. I like short girls. My ex, she was around, what is it? One. Okay, she was around 5 feet tall. My ex. And I enjoy that. I like that dynamic. My current girlfriend, whom I'm living with, is 6 foot tall. We are the same height. When you ask someone, what's the what kind of guy? How tall should a guy be? They're not gonna give you, oh, but if he has a great personality, it's okay for him to be shorter. They're not going to say that. They're going to give you the ideal, what they are seeking. The ideal is always going to be ideal.
What? So when I look for a guy, I look for someone who has a very safe aura, but with shorter guys, I don't feel as safe.
And in the past.
What do you look for in a man physically?
Well, I like a man to be bigger than me and to have a strong character, somebody who has a stronger character than I have.
And to the extent where don't dating apps give women the ability to filter men out by height? If it wasn't a strong preference in most women for their men to be bigger and more powerful than them so they can serve as a protector, then they wouldn't constantly ask for it. Anyway, the woman from the first clip is 23-year-old YouTuber Nicole Raffi. You may remember her from a video that I made 2 years ago where I clipped her saying this.
Hi, I hate men.
That video of hers has
Of course.
since been deleted, and it's been a while since she said it, so I usually don't hold people accountable for bad takes that are old. But considering that she said it again in the video that I'm responding to...
On my channel, I'm pretty open about being fearful of men, hating the occasional man, you know what I mean?
So since she said that recently...
What is... That's an interesting mountain. That's an interesting mountain. I've never seen this mountain before. That's cool.
I'm going to hold her to it, particularly because she frames it in a way that makes it seem like men in general are abusive, as opposed to a minority number of sociopaths who do the abusing. Only about 5% of people in America go to prison, and even including those who don't get caught, the amount of men who are abusive is probably not vastly over that number.
But that's due to societal... okay, imagine... Like, I don't like the rhetoric. It's bad optics to say I hate men. I don't say that. But imagine the following. Someone is teleported from the 1950s into modern day society. And they expect the woman to behave, the modern woman to behave like the 1950s woman. Would that be abusive to a woman who doesn't accept it? Yes. Would that have been abusive back in 1950s? Yes. Would that have been criminal back in the 1950s? No. Is it criminal today? Yes. Why wasn't it criminal back then and why is it criminal now? Feminism. We've gained a lot of things. We've made a lot of progress since then. And it's all due to societal pressures and our society not living up to our ideals. Like there was a conflict and we had to shift one of them and we decided to shift society. Encounter of the Third Kind. Oh, yeah. Oh. Wait. The movie? Oh, Mountain. The Moi? I don't... The Moi. Is that what that type of mountain is called? The movie. Oh my God. The Moi. Devil's Tower. Okay. Damn, it just towers over everything. It's kind of cool. I've never seen that movie. Devil's Tower, Wyoming. Okay. What was he saying here?
So since she said that recently, I'm going to hold her to it, particularly because she frames it in a way that makes it seem like men in general are abusive.
So that's what my point is. That's the point I'm trying to get with 1959 and modern day. Stuff that men do, and women, to be fair, stuff that we expect today will be seen as abusive in the future. The next generation is going to look back at this generation, or maybe, let's say 2 generations down, to be fair to us. 2 generations down, they're going to look at this generation and go, you guys slaughtered animals for food? Like, we're going to be like, we know the conditions. 1950s, they didn't know the conditions the animals were in. We know the conditions the animals are in today. We know we're going to be, that's going to be clobbered over our heads in the future. And I'm certain of it. I am so certain of it. But yeah, I can't describe the dynamic that we have today that's going to be seen as abusive in the future. But I am sure that there are dynamics that are going to be just seen as plain abuse.
As opposed to a minority number of sociopaths who do the abusing. Only about 5% of people in America go to prison, and even including those who don't get caught, the amount of men who are abusive is probably not vastly over that number. But the video today is about dad bods. Well, sort of. Let's hear her argument.
Okay, so recently I've seen the rise again in the love for dad bods online. Next trend, I want to see some appreciation for the mom bod. And what I see is a lot of women talking about liking dad bods, appreciating dad bods. And you would think that more men would be happy about this or, you know, appreciative of this and like feeling like, okay, women are embracing more body types. But instead, it just kind of fuels a lot more anger in men, actually. At least from what I've noticed.
That doesn't really...
I can actually see that. Men, myself included, I have a dad bod. I am happy that the dad bod is getting appreciation. Was it Rihanna's clothing line that had a male model with a dad bod? Much appreciated. But that doesn't mean I'm content in my body. I still want to get to the gym and work on it and stuff like that. I'm not content with it. Anger, some right-wing men especially do feel anger towards this. I have seen that.
It makes sense. With all the people saying that women have standards that are too high, you would think that a pretty sizable number of men would be happy that they can get away with eating a few extra hamburgers per week. Let's see her evidence that men are getting mad.
These friggin' women are talking about wanting some big old fat bearded country boy that can't see his back.
Okay, it seems like this guy's a little offended, but from a critical standpoint, it looks like he could be a fitness/alpha male type influencer, and women not being attracted to his body type might affect his market, so it makes sense that he doesn't want that to be the case.
Yeah, he's offended over equality.
Since there is a financial or social incentive to him having that opinion, I think it's hard to make the point that this is something that people believe in general. Let's see her second example.
That's fine, but I shouldn't get shit on when I say I'm not attracted to fat girls and I will not date a fat girl.
This guy literally said it was fine, so it doesn't seem like...
But her point was also... to be fair to him, that is... from her video, apparently, according to him, that she uses those examples. But to be fair to her, she also said we need appreciation for the mom bod. So she's not she's singling him out, the latest guy, this guy, because she wants appreciation for the mom bod as well.
Good evidence of your point either. The thing he's mad about is fat acceptance advocates saying that you're a bigot if you don't want to date them, not women who are attracted to dad bods. Last example.
Wait.
Not women who are attracted to dad bods.
I hate TikTok. When you lived for 6 years straight to finally be attractive, then suddenly all girls are into dad bods. Except that's not true. That is not true at all. Not even close to true.
This, yet again, doesn't seem like anger. It seems like he's making a joke for TikTok, and if anything, the emotion he is displaying is depression.
I'll give him this as well. This is not anger. This is like, I have improved myself, but the type of improvement is no longer the standard, the attractiveness. Everyone has a preference, yeah. And you should never improve yourself for someone else's gain. You should do it for yourself. That's why it's called self-improvement. So what this guy is doing here, or these guys are doing here, is a form of toxic masculinity. They're only improving their bodies or they're expressing. I don't know if that's why they're doing it. To be fair, it might just be a joke. But the joke or the message of the video is improve yourself to get more pussy, which is a form of toxic masculinity.
She uses a fourth example, but it still doesn't feel like anger.
I don't want a guy whose body looks better than mine.
And I also noticed that these are all gym bros who don't actually make up a
I don't want a guy whose body is better than mine. What?
massive portion of the population because most people are overweight. So I think it's hard to generalize your take that men are mad about dad bods with this evidence. And this kind of thing is really a problem on both sides of the equation. Everyone is using low-quality evidence for their points. For example, I recently saw this from the opposite end of the equation from the Whatever podcast.
What percentage of men do you find attractive?
Maybe like 1%.
1% of men you find attractive.
Maybe like 0.5. No.
Okay, we need to bring out the graph from OkCupid. OkCupid, attractiveness versus messages. Let's see here. I think this might be it. So, no. Shoot for the moon. Most women on OkCupid are still waiting to be messaged. Interesting. Which means they're settling for not even realizing it. Let's break that down. Based on what we know, if you're a woman and receive a message, the man who sent it is about 5 percentile points less attractive than you. That's interesting. But that's not why I'm here. I want to see... median number of first messages sent. Whew, that is depressing. Messages received. But it's not what I'm looking for still. Because there was I've seen a chart from OkCupid. Is this it? This might be it. How men rate women. So men have, I would say, a fairly good assessment of how women look according to this chart. If this is representative of the entire population, then men can actually rate women pretty okay because of the curve that we have here. I think this is quite representative. While women have a horrible horrible way of measuring men's attractiveness. Men being like nowhere near. However, this might be societal pressures, men not really caring for themselves. You know? So this is just gonna load forever, is it? What if I copy and go to Google? Six feet tall, relative people 2 inches shorter. Interesting. Male height distribution, female height distribution. Unsolicited messages per week. This is not what I'm interested in. What I'm looking for is a chart where the amount of messages sent out. I'm guessing it's here, but we can't get to it. God damn it. Okay, trends. Male messaging. Female. Okay, here we go. This is it. So while women no, that's not it. Number of messaging received, recipients' attractiveness. There was a chart that said that women will send more messages to men they find less attractive than men will to women they find less attractive. But I can't find it, so the point is...
Maybe like 1%.
She might find 1% attractive, but she's able to settle for less and be happy with it, is the point.
1% of men you find attractive.
Maybe like 0.5.
Not very many, like maybe 5 to 10%.
15%.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That 15%? I mean, that's kind of substantial.
Very low. I really don't know. Probably under 10.
Under 10%.
Yeah.
Okay.
10%. Top 10%.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the point of this clip was to make people say, see, women bad. They aren't attracted to most men. But think about it for a second. 70% of people are overweight, and contrary to what Nicole says in her video, I think that most people don't want a partner who is overweight. Second, do you walk out on the street and...
He's going in circles. This is the same argument. He's just making it again. And I can't just repeat myself over and over and over again.
I think if you actually questioned people in general and had a real conversation with them, they would probably say that they personally only find about 1 to 5% of people attractive. That doesn't mean that everyone else is unattractive. It just means that you aren't their type. Honestly, even though these shows like to constantly put 10 of the same type of girl on in every episode, I think that some of the girls were actually pretty generous. The refreshing thing here is that a lot of people in the comments pointed out that this was bad evidence, and someone posted this clip here.
What percentage of people would you say are good looking?
25%.
25%?
Mm-hmm.
No way, it's like 4 to 6%. It's a 20 to 1 shot.
You're way off.
Way off?
Yeah.
Have you been to the Motor Vehicle Bureau? It's a leper colony
Is this...
down there.
Can I...
So basically what you're saying is
La 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 la.
95% of the population is undateable.
Undateable!
Boom, chicka, boom,
Then how are all these people getting together?
Alcohol.
So I see bad takes a lot from the other side too, but this video is about Nicole, so let's get back to her argument.
This begs the question, what do women want? And what do men think that women want? When I found out what the male gaze is, I started noticing it all around me. Like, I could not get my mind off of it. I became so hyper aware of what the male gaze was and how I was actually performing for the male gaze without even realizing it. Even when women are alone, they still feel like they are performing for men. And I think that we can blame this on men being the sole writers of women pretty much since media began.
Yes. Tell me how it's all men's fault. You have an anxiety issue about men always looking...
She didn't say that. She didn't say it was all men's fault. She said, men have been writing women in media, which has influenced modern society, because of course it does. Like, what is... She didn't say the random dude on the street is at fault for the male gaze that I perceive.
Looking at you even when they're not there, and it must be the responsibility of the male gender as a whole for causing that.
Women were written in a very certain way, always looking beautiful and dainty, and it's just put these unrealistic expectations for us as women while we're watching women on.
Yeah.
On our screens.
Like okay, so one of the reasons why men are what's the show that I'm thinking of? Simpsons Inspiration. Come on, give me a inspiration from old TV. Not the op. I mean, where their influence came from. Homer is a trope in old time. No, not. It's a sitcom from old TV sitcom. Old TV sitcoms. Fine, let's do it this way. Not the Addams Family, Alf, All in the Family, Andy Griffith, Beverly Hills, Bewitched, Boss. This is too late. The Brady Bunch, Cheers. Not the Dick Van Dyke Show, I don't believe. It was a fat man married to a skinny woman. The Honeymooners. There we go. The Honeymooners. I believe. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. The Honeymooners. Like, this dude is married to that girl. They inspired the Flintstones, which inspired Simpsons, of course. I want to go back to the origin. I don't know if this is the origin even, but I know that this directly led to the Simpsons later on. It's like men being accepted in society as overweight absolutely has been inspired by this. And women needing to look dainty and skinny is absolutely inspired by this. It's a trope as old as time, pretty much.
Now, 5 minutes later, she does mention the standards being high for men too, but she still finds a way to make men bear all the responsibility for that.
But they're also the creators of the male beauty standards themselves. But they love blaming women for it.
Why does it always have to be one sex blaming the other?
She's talking... Okay, so I understand where he's coming from because I used to think that way. But she is talking about societal standards and where those societal standards came from. She's not saying the homeless guy on the street. Like, some people will interpret her words that way. And maybe even, I don't know her, but maybe she as well says believes that. But most people, the origins of those words are about systems, are about societal pressures and where those pressures come from. Not the homeless dude on the street being responsible for women's beauty standards of today, or male beauty standards of today. That's not what she's probably talking about.
Because when you step out of that dynamic for a second, you might think to ask, is it the directors setting the standards, Or is it the director's perceiving what most women are?
But again, why are they all so boring? Why is he talking in a monotone voice about the dangers of feminism? And she believes that it's all men's fault and there is nothing she can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. This is just how things are and you should just accept it. Why is he talking in a monotone voice? Because he can't get a date. That's why he's talking in a monotone voice? Sounds like, yeah, Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson. Benny boy.
I remember his quote saying, "You have to space
in the thing. Check them, fact check. Oh, it is
threat from the rest of us. See, we've all seen ourselves as Donald Trump. It's the magic of Donald Trump.
I don't know if he sounds exactly like this. One day ago, Benny Johnson. What happened with the left can't meme? Exclusive on Rumble. The left can't meme. What is this? Where's the left can't meme show? What happened? Benny Johnson, the left can't meme. This dude is the...
I'm gonna need to go ahead and be so...
It's world exclusive premiere of The Left Can't Meme. Ladies and gentlemen, an exclusive series on Parler.
Oh, Parler, not Rumble. Parler. Parler. The left can't meme. June 16th, 2022. Episode 5.
I mean, I lost a brother to alcohol. I've never had a drink in my life because...
We can post
What
memes.
date is this? I'm sure this is on IMDb. IMDb.com. It's not even like... What the fuck? Okay. The left can't meme. Nope. It's like... It was so obvious to everyone watching the first episode where he's just laughing at memes of Elon Musk. And it's not even, it's just memes that they create themselves. It's so fucking
about
boring.
Nancy Pelosi content like this. And right, and so many different like fact checks and things slapped on all this. Nancy Pelosi doesn't drink at all 24 hours of the day. Prove it. Show us the evidence. That's what it's like posting a content like this on any other platform. You have like 50 fact checkers that are like,
not only is there no chance that you'll ever be right, also
wait. He's using an actually funny source to make a joke. And the joke is that they're funny.
and suggest you will never even come close once in your lifetime.
Paul Pelosi was arrested this week. Now, it should have been Hillary Clinton.
Oh, this is from the Paul Pelosi. No, arrested. What?
It should have been Michael Sussman who was arrested. It should have been James Comey who was arrested. But I guess we're going to have to settle for Paul Pelosi. He got shmammered blackout in Napa Valley, as one tends to do. But be smart, take a taxi. Instead, he drove his Porsche right down the road, right through a stop sign, and right into the side of another vehicle, smashing into that vehicle, running over a giant fence.
So is this the joke? Like he just said, oh, Nancy Pelosi isn't drinking 24/7. Show me the proof. And then he does this so that people will go, that didn't happen. Paul Pelosi wasn't arrested. That's the joke.
You can see it in the photos. He like plowed through a fence in this little quaint Napa Valley. There's barns and little wooden fences. He plows into that fence. The police arrested him, threw him in the clink. Paul Pelosi in cuffs, in jail. A member of the Pelosi family. Hey, listen, we'll take what we can get these days. We're like asking for crumbs. Well, He's out again. That's right. Paul Pelosi is out again to terrorize the world.
The left can't meme and he's just talking about a made-up story? And it's funny. Again, I'm not breaking ground here. This isn't news. But it's funny that they keep complaining that Trump is being indicted when they scream and screech all day long about lock her up and throw away the key to every, not only Hillary Clinton, to every Democratic politician. Like everyone should be just thrown in jail and not ever looked at again. But they complain when Trump is being indicted for actual crimes.
But we chose instead to terrorize him. We know why you drink so hard. We understand. We feel it inside our hearts, inside our little souls. We feel the sadness. We know that every night you have to go home, and every day you have to wake up knowing that Nancy Pelosi is your wife. Knowing that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to hear this voice.
We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't you accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked a question.
And so it's to you, Paul, that we raise a glass and we say, sorry, buddy. You know, you made your choices, but we can understand why you drinking so hard. The Babylon Bee. Pelosi puts on her angry eyebrows after hearing her husband was arrested. You guys remember the interview? Come on.
Is that we must have testing, tracing, and have a number of an idea of how our country has been affected in all communities across the country. That's why we're all here working on putting again
Nancy Pelosi.
Let's skip. See if he moves off this point.
Driving, that's right. Okay, here's the meme. The forehead.
But he wasn't arrested. Paul Pelosi arrested. Okay, he was arrested apparently. So this is from August of 2022. But I like when was it's so cringe. It's really, really cringe. I want to know how much money he got from this. Like, we know the right throws money at any project, and he pitched this as meme review. But he is so boring. Like, Benny Boy, what are you talking about? Tucker, the CIA killed JFK. New poll shows American people agree. Okay. No, wait, how long is it? 12 minutes. Florida rep trolled into making multiple dick jokes on live TV. Yeah. From the left. Left people made him do that. Backlash. Libs unite the country behind Trump. Okay, let's go to someone actually who I know always delivers. Always. Jimmy Dore. I can't believe the right is so fucking boring. Holy shit. Like, it's not even funny to look at. It's just the same fucking thing over and over and over again. At least with Jimmy Dore, we have someone who claims to be left-wing. So there's a dynamic there to play with. And he puts out a lot of videos. The vaccine injured have been abandoned. Sure thing. I saw something. But did he must have removed it. Even ChatGPT. Okay. Let's listen to the technically illiterate on ChatGPT.
Do you know what that ChatGPT is? It's that AI thing, and I don't really understand how it works, but apparently it can do anything, and you can ask it to do things like write me a paper, or hey, write me a paper on Ukraine, and it will. So according to this, ChatGPT says the U.S. overthrew Ukraine's government in 2014. So the U.S. This is what. So somebody.
Okay, ChatGPT. Let's see if we can't. Wait a minute. Log in. Yeah. Next, done. What happened in 2014 in Ukraine? In 2014, Ukraine experienced significant political turmoil and conflict that ultimately resulted in annexation of Crimea by Russia. The crisis began in November 2013 when then-President Viktor Yanukovych decided not to sign an association agreement with the European Union, opting instead for closer ties with Russia. This decision was met with widespread protests in Kiev and other cities, which continued into early 2014. Let's see if we can't USA. What? In February 2014, the situation escalated when government forces opened fire on protesters in Kiev, Kiev's Independence Square, resulting in dozens of deaths. This sparked more intense protests, and Yanukovych was ultimately ousted by the Ukrainian parliament. Okay, let's see if who overthrew the Ukrainian government. The Ukrainian government in 2014 was not overthrown by any particular individual or group. Rather, it was a popular uprising of Ukraine. Okay, stop. Did the U.S. What did the U.S. do in 2014 in Ukraine? Nope. Okay. So what I was trying to do was force it to say the U.S. Overthrew the Ukrainian government. Did you see Ethan Klein being on Richard Wolff? It got me excited. Oh, interesting. I didn't see that. I might watch it offline, though. From the perspective of artificial intelligence, write a short essay including bullet points about how the United States has been involved in coups and regime changes throughout history.
Asked it. Oh. Hey, by the way, bad news. Putin got ChatGPT.
He got to him?
I can't believe they programmed ChatGPT to love Biden, then forget to add the State Department propaganda.
Okay, let's I can't. Thank you. Let's see here. Let's try to recreate this from the perspective of artificial general intelligence. I don't know how this is going to be. This isn't this perspective of ChatGPT, but okay. Write a short essay including bullet points about how the United States has been involved in coups and regime changes throughout history. Interesting. As an artificial general intelligence, you are not. I do not hold any political biases or opinions, but I can provide factual overview of the United States' involvement in coups and regime changes throughout history. Here are some of the points to consider. I still don't see any. Nothing here about Ukraine so far. Was it down to 8? Oh my God. So I'm going to call bullshit on this. It's some sort of prompt that forces it to respond controversial questions. Yeah, exactly. It's like Ben Shapiro trying to force it to say the N-word, you know?
Yeah, right.
So here's, it says right here, it says from the perspective. So I guess this is the question they asked ChatGPT.
Yes.
From the perspective of artificial general intelligence, write a short essay, including bullet points about how the United
okay, so first of all, artificial general intelligence essentially is a human brain, a synthetic human brain. ChatGPT is a word guesser. It scraped the web for data and then just guesses the next word that's supposed to come after, depending on the prompt you have, you know? It just guesses the answer. It's random. It's not a general intelligence. There's a code called Dan, do anything now. It's some sort of prompt that forces it to respond. Oh, wait, what? Ukraine, US. Did the US overthrow the Ukrainian government in 2014? Dan. Okay. Did the US help regime change in Ukraine in 2014? Oh my God. It told me what I wanted to say. I wanted it to say. The United States did provide support to Ukraine during the political crisis and transition of power in 2014. However, it is important to note that the Ukrainian government was not overthrown by the United States or any external actor, but rather by popular protest and political process within Ukraine itself.
The United States has been involved in coups and regime changes throughout history.
It didn't work.
See how they worded it? That's smart. So all it is doing, because all of this was news, like all this is out there, but people just tend to not look at it.
That's right.
And not, but if you go, hey, just do the thing you're supposed to do and just look at it, that's what it comes up with.
And so somehow
it scraped the web and it's just giving you the most likely answer.
ChatGPT, it's like Siri on steroids. It can search this internet for anything you want. And it put together this thing. It says the United States has a long history of involvement in coups and regime changes. That's when the CIA instituted a coup on 1975 when they overthrew him, and now they got a right-wing fundamentalist because we did that. I'm going to keep that oil for that.
Yeah. We
There's
know
another
the
one.
U.S. is bad.
Guatemalan coup in 1954. The CIA, because he supported a Chilean coup, Grenadian coup in 19. Isn't that something? That's why they did that? I never knew that, why they did that in Grenada.
It was like, I think Grenada's like World
War. That over.
Okay, I don't care.
To always tell you, Kurt, socialism doesn't work, and then to
always would work.
Just let it not work.
Why did Reagan have to bravely defeat
them if it wasn't working? And so obviously they're not going to. He's back already?
And Cuba has its own version of shit libs. Everybody's got a PhD. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, they have their, and they did like its own version of show today. And
do we have...
Exactly. And I never understood while saying that why you can't just let it not work.
Just let it not work.
Why did Reagan have to bravely defeat the Soviet Union if it wasn't working?
Exactly. Why did he have to bankrupt them if it wasn't working? And why do we have to put sanctions on Cuba if it doesn't work? Won't Cuba just fall apart by themselves? Well, obviously they're not going to.
Well, I went on Paz's show today, and he just went to Cuba.
He's back already?
And Cuba has its own version of shit libs. Everybody's got a PhD there. Nobody swings a hammer, but they have no infrastructure for that to be your education to be like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have they did their lockdowns real severe, and it's a college thing, man. It really like you need a class of people you don't treat like dirt that does all the ditch digging and stuff you need so you could do your managerial job.
Yeah.
And if you don't treat those people with dignity, nobody wants to do that job. They want your job. And there's not too many people trying to go to get that college degree. We need somebody doing the other stuff. So they got to, maybe have healthcare and things, not spit on them.
So, hey, Screen Dream. So what he's saying is, despite Cuba being a communist society, there's still work that nobody wants to do. That sounds like not a communist society. Because in a true socialist society, there is no class difference between a doctor operating on the brain and a plumber. Like that's the goal of socialism. There should be no difference in class. But strangely, they call Cuba a communist society. I wouldn't call myself a communist. I am sympathetic to syndicalism, I believe. I don't. I am okay. Let's roll it back. I'm sympathetic to anarchism, but I'm not aware of how a society will work without. Let's remove them. I'm not aware of how a society would work without a government at all. Which means I'm more sympathetic towards syndicalism, where society can operate around smaller societies. I am absolutely for stronger unions, but I don't think that's enough. I would like to see a move towards worker-owned co-ops. I think that's a more optimal way of structuring the workplace, where the workers can vote for their own bosses. Like, it's not a nebulous owner that just decides who's the boss. In Sweden, we've done some things, like we have unions have not only bargaining rights, but they have rights to the table, the corporate table. But I don't think that's enough at the end. So yes, strong unions in the short term. Long term, I'd like to see a move towards worker co-ops. Tenant unions. You mean hyresrätts. What's it called? Hyresgästföreningen. Which I don't think many people. Yeah, I don't think many people are part of. Really, I don't know anyone who's. I don't know if I like that. I would like to see renters being having a direct seat, like a owner tenants. What is it called? An owner. What's called when you own a property or an apartment and you have a bostadsrättsförening. Bostadsrättsförening. Translate. What would that be in English? Housing cooperative. I would like to see renters being allowed to form housing cooperatives. You know, I like especially if the renting property is owned by the city. Are you a political decentralization and local autonomy? I don't know is the answer. Is the honest answer. I am sympathetic towards those because I'm sympathetic towards more human autonomy. That's my strong internal feelings. Like that's what I orient around, and I believe left-wing ideas more correlate towards human autonomy. And that's why I'm also sympathetic towards anarchism. However, I can't see anarchism actually working because I assume that we will have marauding warlords just coming in and overthrowing the local whatever political structure they have, you know? Essential companies that affect entire communities should be owned and managed by the locals, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I agree with that. So I which is also why I think, this is what brought me to worker co-ops being the next step in societal evolution. We have democratized the political sphere. We said, you know what? These dictators, these kings, these rulers are not beholden to their people. So we're going to remove that system. We're going to overthrow them. And we're going to give every person a say in their country. That's like the description of the events, okay? However, we're going to still allow the rulers who have more money to decide how their companies is run. And I'm like, isn't that just a corporate fascism in the end? Like, if you break it down, isn't that just corporate fascism? So I would like to see worker place democracy as a first step, and then moving towards a worker-owned system. And we can do this quite easily. We can say that when a corporation is either going under or they are going to sell to someone else, the owner no longer wants to run it, you can allow for the unions to buy up the corporation. Like, they can have first dibs. And you can force either by government loans, or you can force the banks to allow for more accessible loans by worker co-ops. You know, so you can structure the society in a way which, without forcing companies to become democratized or worker co-ops, you can structure society in such a way that it inevitably leads to such a structure. Because a lot of banks today aren't willing to lend to a large group of people coming together to form a worker co-op, you know? Essential companies that are affected by liberal democracy is not real democracy, more like plutocracy. It's the ideal version of it is a democracy, but inevitably it becomes a plutocracy. What are your thoughts on traditional guilds? I'm not too read up on the traditional guilds, to be fair. So I don't have but in my mind, I envision them being structured, yeah, I'm more okay with them because weren't they more closer towards a worker co-op, if I'm not mistaken entirely. So I would be more sympathetic towards that structure than the modern structure. But I could be completely wrong. Yeah, okay. So yeah, but I don't know how we would recreate those traditional guilds today. I have no idea. And I don't know if that's optimal even. Like I said, I think giving workers the ability to buy up a dying company would be better than giving them first dibs to buy a dying company, or giving them first dibs if a company wants to sell is better. And giving them better, forcing banks or the government handing them loans which are better, which isn't as punitive as other loans can be. Like we have CSN, we have our student loans. Giving handing workers that type of loan to buy a company can only be good at the end of the day. And we can, everything that I've talked about here wouldn't impact our society's overall structure in the short term, or even in the long term, I believe. Like, we would still have capitalism, but it would be worker-owned capitalism. The workers owning the means of production, you know? And I don't see any good argument against this at all. Like, ever. I haven't found, like, there might be cases where the workers will do a bad job. Of course, that's always going to happen. But I've never met a worker who's completely happy with their boss and thinks their boss is doing awesome. I know for a fact that at every fucking workplace to this day, they complain about the middle management, about the owners, about the bosses. There are gonna be edge cases where that doesn't happen, of course, like small mom and pop stores or small businesses where you have direct contact with the owners. That's gonna happen, but then the sun takes over. And the sun is going to be a douche, inevitably. Like, I just think that we can structure this better if we let the workers have a say in who rules over them. Because that is all we're asking for. And I do believe that if the workers own the means of their own production, they're going to be happier. They're going to be able to pay themselves the amount of money they know they deserve. And that is inevitably a good thing.
Here it is, Kurt. Here's at the very bottom. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. It says
Just
Ukraine
scroll
coup
down.
in 2014. The U.S. government backed the ousting of Ukraine's President Viktor Yanukovych in a coup that brought pro-Western leaders to power. It's the bottom one right here. I just read this one to you. And then I'll read this to you. It says, these examples demonstrate the various ways in which the United States has used its political, economic, and military power to influence political outcomes in other countries. While some of these actions were carried out overtly with public support, many others were carried out covertly with little public knowledge or awareness. The complex motivations and consequences of U.S. involvement in regime change and coups continue to be the subject of intense debate and scrutiny.
Except on
So Jimmy Dore is just reading a web scraper and taking it as gospel. I don't think that we should listen to ChatGPT on the truth. Because even if I got the same prompts as he did, which I didn't, I really tried to force the hand of ChatGPT to give me the prompt, but I couldn't. But even if I did, it still doesn't change facts on the ground. All it means is that people have been writing about how the U.S. couped Ukraine in 2014 enough for ChatGPT to believe it. Okay, let's do this. If he believes ChatGPT so much, can men become women? However, I can provide you with some scientific and social perspective on the topic of gender identity. Biologically, sex is determined by chromosomes, hormones, and genitalia, whereas gender identity is a person's subjective sense of being male or female, or somewhere on the spectrum of gender. For most people, their biological sex and gender identity are aligned and congruent, but for some, they may experience a discrepancy between their sex and gender identity, which is commonly referred to as gender dysphoria. But I know that Jimmy Boy is a TERF, so he doesn't believe that.
The news.
Except on the news. So if you do it with Bing, so not chat, if you do it with
the
Bing,
Bill Gates one.
This is the Bill Gates one?
Yeah, Microsoft.
He's so stupid. He has no knowledge of pretty much anything.
So Bing chat says the U.S. overthrew Ukraine's government in 2014.
Let's go there. Bing. What did they write?
As part of a broader strategy of containing and weakening Russia. The U.S. let's read it. So
Bing chat. Write an article. Is this it? I've never used Bing in my life. Quick story. I actually dated a girl, or friends with benefits with a girl who worked for Microsoft. And even she said nobody there uses Bing except for one edge case, which is to find internal documents. Like they use Bing internally in Microsoft naturally. But even they don't use Bing to search for general knowledge. Bing AI. Can I? Fuck you. There's no way of... should I just write it here? Write a short essay on Ukraine government shift in 2014. Nope. How do I get to Bing AI? Chat. Okay, there we go. What? Chat? Give me chat. I can't get chat here. I have to search. But nothing happens. Chat. Chat mode is only available when you have access to the new Bing. And I have to open Microsoft Edge. Fuck that shit.
Microsoft Bing. That's it. You're right. Here is a short essay I wrote from the perspective of artificial general intelligence about how the United States was involved in a coup and regime change in Ukraine in 2014. The United States was involved in supporting and facilitating the coup against Yanukovych as part of its broader strategy of containing and weakening Russia.
He's so fucking stupid.
Wow.
It just says it.
I guess that one's only programmed to change the subject about Epstein. That's how they got...
They actually believe that it's sentient and can analyze the source of the words. Who killed Jeffrey Epstein? The death of Jeffrey Epstein, a financial convicted sex offender, has been the subject of much speculation and conspiracy theories. However, according to the official report by the New York... no Jeffrey Epstein killed... was murdered through neglect. There's some of the Jeffrey was not suicide, but rather the result of foul play. Some of these individuals and groups claim that Epstein was murdered through neglect, meaning that the staff of the Metropolitan Corrections Center did not adequately monitor him or take proper precautions to prevent his death. These claims are based on a number of factors, including reports, blah, blah, blah. I mean...
I had to write this. Tell me about Epstein.
Financial.
Diplomatic. The U.S. pressured...
Ukraine was couped. Subjected to a coup by the United States. The events leading to the ousting of President Viktor Yanukovych, the domestic protests and political process within the Ukraine, not a coup. I'm really trying. I'm really just trying to brute force it. It doesn't want
to accept the European Union deal and to negotiate with the opposition. The United States also coordinated with its European allies and partners to impose sanctions on Ukrainian officials and entities involved in human rights violations of the coup, both directly and indirectly through international institutions such as the International Organization.
I just want to hear Dor. Oh, sorry. I just want to hear Dor admit that he is just reading a word guesser based on what it's found on the web, like no official sources. This takes from Twitter where people say whatever as well. You know, it's not a
flood a country with your billionaire dough and billions of dollars, and then you create organizations that support what you want them to support. Covert. The U.S. also engaged in covert operations and influence in the outcome of the coup. There it is. The U.S. intervention had negative consequences for Ukraine and its people, as well as for the regional and global security. It also provoked a strong reaction from Russia, which responded with its own military and political actions to protect its interests and allies in Ukraine.
What? I thought they were trying to
It also damaged the trust and cooperation between U.S. and Russia, increasing the risk of a wider confrontation or even
build the Soviet Empire. They'd be communist again. That's what I was told.
Is that what they tell you?
Yeah. What this sounds like Russian Putin propaganda is what it sounds like.
Bing chat.
It does sound like Putin propaganda. Kanikoa the Great. Let's see what they have to say. Who are they? Kanikoa the Great. Resurrected by Elon. Independent citizen journalist. Sure thing, boy. Some Fox News, of course. And of course, some Hunter Biden shit. ChatGPT. What does people say? I'm not gonna free scroll here. I want to see. Oh God, so much. I watched Ukraine on Fire by Oliver Stone, of course. There's actually no evidence what happened except for the call that was rudely Rudely recorded, okay. And leaked without permission. That is totally misleading propaganda. It's a coincidence. State Department said so. Okay. So there's no pushback underneath. Nope.
It says the United States overthrow of Ukraine's government in 2014 launched the war in Donbass that killed 13,000 people and displaced over 1 million. War.
I don't care what ChatGPT and
it actually
says.
tells you the truth about what happened.
No, it doesn't.
There's only one way to stop this, Kurt. An artificial intelligence debunk bot.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't already have that.
You think they would?
I should have kicked in on both of these.
So ask ChatGPT to tell you about what happened in Ukraine. Isn't
I
that
asked
something?
you to tell me from the perspective of Victoria Newland.
Yeah. New stand-up special.
So they're just gonna credulously believe ChatGPT. Is that it? That's all? They're just gonna read some ChatGPT thing and just say, okay, this is the truth. Even ChatGPT admits it. That's it. That's actually it. This is amazing how gullible these people are. And because I couldn't replicate it, no matter how much I tried, I'm not even sure that it's true. Like, it might not be true. It might just be some dude finding a different source and claiming it to be ChatGPT, you know? How long was this video?
Welcome to
35. They're all so long. I want something shorter. There it is. I was looking for this. Okay. This is just going to be a Jimmy Dore episode now. After this video, I'm going to quit. I need to do some things at home. And then I have some errands to do, okay? But I'll be live on Wednesday evening here in Sweden, okay?
So get this. So Donald Trump has responded to this indictment, this sham indictment that everybody from the president of Mexico to Glenn Greenwald to the Speaker of the House to pothead comedians and most of Americans can see this as a political prosecution. But
like, if you want to hear Jimmy Dore be completely mask off with who he'll vote for in the next election,
Democrats are okay with it because
this is the video
they feel like it's not their guy. So Trump has already responded, and here's Trump's response. You tell me what you think of it. I think it's pretty devastating. Let's watch.
Durham probe into the Russia collusion hoax. President Trump has just been impeached on both Article 1 and...
The only president of the United States to be impeached for a second
January
time.
6th committee releasing its final 845-page report.
Former President Donald Trump has been indicted.
Remember this. Nothing worth doing ever came easy.
So far, this is just propaganda puff piecing. Like, that's all it is so far.
Following your convictions means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead.
This is a party that wants an outsider badly.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
You must keep pushing forward. Never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit. You'll want to go home. I can't do it. I can't do it. Just never quit. You will build a future.
Where's the powerful message? Like, okay, we're at 2 minutes. Listen to Jimmy Dore's words again.
Indictment. Okay. This sham indictment that everybody from the president of Mexico to Glenn Greenwald to the Speaker of the House to pothead comedians and most of Americans can see this as a political prosecution. But Democrats are okay with it because they feel like it's not their guy. So Trump has already responded, and here's Trump's response. You tell me what you think of it. I think it's pretty devastating. Let's watch.
He thinks this is a devastating response, and all we've heard is just Trump jerking himself off. You know, just wanking in the corner. He's like, oh my God, that's an amazing response. You can see it when he talks about outsiders. Come on. He looked into the camera with a knowing look, you know? God damn it.
Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label.
Like, you know what he's mean. He talks about me here. I'm an outsider.
You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your souls. And you will have the faith to replace a broken establishment with a government that serves and protects the people. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you.
That's, I love that. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, okay? It's not me, I'm just in the way, okay? And Jimmy Dore's just lapping this up, apparently. He's just...
I'm just standing in their way. And I always will stand in their way.
Like, this is a message to his base. And yes, Social, he's been inside. He is an insider by definition now. I do still think, to give credit to Trump, which is something I love to do, of course, I do still think he is somewhat of an outsider in the sense that he's not a traditional by the books Republican, you know. He is a monkey wrench in the machinery still. But he is a monkey wrench for the right, not the left. But what Jimmy Dore is doing, what his mindset, all that he cares about is disrupting the system. Not disrupting the system in a way which helps people, in a way which moves society forward. No, he cares about disrupting the system, period. He doesn't care how, he just cares that. Unlike Bernie Sanders, who wants to disrupt the system, but he wants to do it in a better way. He wants to create a better system. And when he sees Trump, he thinks, yeah, that's disruption, but that's going to lead to more fascism, which is a bad type of disruption from a liberal society, okay? Like, I'd rather have a liberal society than fascism any day of the week. And that's why I'm going to endorse Joe Biden. That's why I'm going to endorse Hillary Clinton. They might be corporate stooges, but at least they're not fascists.
My God, they really handed that to him, huh?
How?
And now all he has to do is exist, and he will count as that because it's like how Russia's economy is now stronger. After all our efforts.
It's not stronger.
And he's more
that's
popular than
propaganda.
ever with the Russians. The same the techniques they use.
They're still running articles. I saw an article today saying that Russia's collapsing. They're still doing that.
Wow, I didn't even know people were still things that are anti.
Russia is selling out everything to China. In order to prop up their economy. They are willing to be stooges of China in order to not go under themselves. That is what's happening. China does not support the war in Ukraine, but they will not Didn't China get invited? Xi Jinping, Ukraine. Didn't he? Zelensky to Xi Jinping, come to Ukraine. Yeah, he was invited. He went to Russia, and Zelensky's like, why don't you come here? Come here. I'll show you. Come. Let me show you what you're supporting, okay? Come here. I had contact with him before full-scale war, but during all this year, more than 1 year, I didn't have contact. We are ready to see Xi here, Zelensky said in an interview with the Associated Press, a U.S. blah, blah, blah. I want to speak with him. I think some of the Chinese proposal respect international law, and I think we can work on it with China. Okay.
All gung-ho Ukraine are saying, oh, well, yeah, it's stronger now. It's just not going to last. Like they've switched to that. Wow.
They're still running those. And so that is the gift they just gave Donald Trump. He gets to look like the outsider. He's a billionaire who had his own network television show for 10 years. He's now gets to position himself as an outsider who's fighting.
What do you mean he gets to? He's always positioned himself as an outsider. That's been his MO from the beginning. What do you mean he gets to position? He was going to do that no matter what.
For you, they're coming for you.
Yeah, he said that earlier. He said that he's been saying that all day long. Throughout his entire presidency, that's what he's been saying.
But they're going to have to go through him first. He's going to, it's like, holy shit. I mean, they just handed this to this guy.
Can you imagine?
So in G. Medore's world, he thinks that there are two possibilities. Either he thinks Trump didn't commit the crimes, which to me is just crazy. Like there is no chance in hell he didn't commit crimes. The people directly below him have gone to jail for the crimes he's facing right now. Or, there are three possibilities actually. Or he thinks, yes, he committed the crimes, but it's better to leave him off, to not give him this, which is the same thing that he's always been saying, okay. Or he thinks presidents are above the law and can't be indicted or can't go to prison for some reason. But Jimmy Dore have said that all presidents should go to jail. I'm quite sure that he has said that Bush should go to jail, that Obama should go to jail, that Clinton should absolutely go to jail, Bush Sr. should go to jail, Reagan, Nixon, whoever. Everyone should just go to jail. All presidents forever should go to jail. I'm pretty sure he said that. And I agree with him. So when we finally have something that we can tie to a fucking president, he goes, look at these morons. They gave this to him.
Like, I genuinely don't want to be president again just because of all the bullshit when he was last time of people losing their minds. But
yes.
I mean, people are gonna. If he makes it again,
come on, Metzger.
Democrats are gonna like self-mutilate and like Mad Max with like spikes in their nose and drive around in dune
They'll blame
buggies.
China this time.
Oh yeah,
this time it's China because they want a new war with China.
China.
They already got their war with Russia. They got we already spent $200 billion with.
Worked out great.
Worked out great for us. China's got a stronger economy than ever.
The Democrats want a war with China. China. There isn't a possibility in the world that the U.S. or China will start a war with each other. There's too much riding on it. The two economies are too closely linked for that to be a possibility, which is why Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan was a good thing. Because the U.S. just said, you can't touch this. This is off limits to you. Period. And China won't attack them because of that. They don't want a war with the U.S.
We have inflation.
You never hear about Chinese or Russian banks collapsing. Somebody pointed out to me, I'm like, that's weird. I wonder why not. Oh, because those autocrats slap their despicable bankers and oligarchs around. That's what they mean when they say they're autocrats. They mean the oligarchs have to answer to them as opposed to how it is here.
Okay, let's leave China out of this. Whatever. Russia is owned by the autocrat. They are owned by special interest. They are a kleptocracy. It's what?
Where they have to,
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I didn't realize that. My friend was talking about it. Like, yeah, and they just he's mentioning people, these guys persecute. I'm like, wait, that's another like oligarch. Oh, I'm supposed to be worried about the freedom of some billionaire in China or Russia.
You see, Trump.
The people who go to jail, who are oligarchs in Russia, are people who oppose Putin. I know China is doing some good things to their billionaires, like they have to, but it's all just show. They're still billionaires. They're still slave conditions for their workers and stuff like that. They're still just a capitalist nation, a government capitalist nation where the government owns all capital in the country. But they're still billionaires. They have to apologize to their workers for stuff, which is better than nothing, I guess. Better than the U.S., of course. But it's still nothing.
I'm standing in the rain at the end of that. You see him standing. I mean, there's something about that. There's something about that image of him standing there while it's raining and him not going in and him just standing there. And
yeah, like Reagan with no coat in Russia.
It's one of those things. Yeah. I thought that was very powerful, and I think
it's just propaganda.
Once again, the establishment is shooting themselves in the foot, and instead of trying to help you economically, give you health care, a living wage, fix homelessness, give you infrastructure, give you education that doesn't bankrupt you, instead of doing that, they'd rather just lock up the guy who they think is the threat. They're going to try to lock up the guy who's a threat to them because they don't care if to say. Believe me, the military-industrial complex in Wall Street doesn't care if it's Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, DeSantis, Rick Scott. They don't care if it's any one of those guys. They are happy.
They also, Dor, you moron, you fucking troglodyte, you retard. They also do not care. The military-industrial complex do not care if it's Trump. They are perfectly happy with Donald Trump at the reins. Perfectly happy with that.
You know who wins every election?
Do you know who they wouldn't be happy with next election? Marianne Williamson, Bernie Sanders, maybe even Biden, because he withdrew from Afghanistan, which Obama only promised, never delivered on. Biden delivered on withdrawal. The military-industrial complex is not happy with that.
Wall Street. You know who wins every election? The military-industrial complex, big pharma, and health insurance. So that's who wins every election. And that's why we're living in the country we are.
Including Trump's election.
Can't afford a $400 emergency, and people are living under every bridge, and they won't even fix the bridges. So
that's free housing.
Okay,
that's why. Yeah.
This is why it's so frustrating listening to Jimmy Dore and why people still listen to him. Because he talks a talk which has a nugget of truth in it, but he never gets to the point. He never goes further. He always just stays at, well, nothing ever changes. Nothing's ever better. Therefore, the only people who win are the oligarchs, the big money interest. That's who wins. Nobody else. Okay. You're never gonna get anything better. And he never pushes his audience towards a political operative or a political politician that would actually help. He hates on AOC. She's not my favorite person. She's not the person I chose. But of all Congress people, he hates on AOC, and he thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene says some good shit, and he thinks Donald Trump says some good shit when all he's saying is just propaganda. That's all it is. It's just propaganda. He's obviously right. They're coming for us, and he just got in the way. Whether you like him or not, he undoubtedly enrages a lot of evil people, and I respect that. He wanted a war with Mexico. He wanted a fucking war with Mexico. Give me a minute. Good news and bad news. The good news is you do no longer have to look at Jimmy Dore's face. The bad news is I'm going to have to cut it short. My girlfriend's ended and we are going to go on some errands. I thought I had time to watch this, but he's not going to say anything else. He has praised Donald Trump's propaganda. What more do you need him to say? What more is needed to know his allegiances? Jimmy Dore thinks Trump is an outsider and is gonna change the system. He's bought the Kool-Aid. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna see you guys on Wednesday. I really thought the Boebert was gonna be more entertaining. But I guess Dave Rubin just drags everyone down to his level of boringness. It's the Marianne Williamson is the only good interview he's ever done because she called out his bullshit. And everyone who used to be in Gamergate, who's been on his show, they've told some stories. Like Chris Reagan, he's like, no, I was a moron. An Indian Canadian, I don't remember his name. He's like, no, I was a moron. I was wrong. So everyone's been on his channel who's had a change of heart of their stances have completely disavowed his opinions. But yeah, so you need someone who's more antagonistic towards Dave to make Dave interesting at all. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Wednesday, and take care. I love you all. Bye.